Sorry for the slight delay in this webinar. Just had a few technical issues from my end. So hopefully that I'm coming through okay now. So I do apologize for the delay. So we're having people jump in now and we'll be able to kickstart things straight away. Brilliant. So we're excited today to be able to go through quite a few new features. So basically we'll be going through a lot of the data layers that we've loaded up. There's been quite a few exciting data layers that quite a lot of our clients have been asking for. We'll be going through facades, renders and optional changes as well, and going through exactly what we've been working on in the last couple of weeks, which is quite exciting. Again, I genuinely apologize for the lateness of this start. You know, my laptop is very lucky to be still functioning. I was about to throw it out the window. But aside from that, we'll kickstart things. I'll share my screen like usual and run through what we'll be talking about today. But basically, in summary, we'll be going through quite a lot of the data layers that we've loaded up, which is including acoustic, wind in New Zealand, airport noise, etc. So there's quite a lot of developments in that regards that I'll be able to showcase, as well as things relating to house and land packaging, the widget, facades and renders. So without further ado, I'll share my screen and start things. But I hope everyone's been safe. Again, things have been going a bit sideways in terms of flooding and natural disasters, but I hope everyone is still kicking on and smiling. So let me just share my screen and start this latest episode of the FAQ Hour. So give me a moment to gather my thoughts, as it's been a bit trying to get to this point. So let me just share my screen and kickstart. All right, fantastic. It looks like we're on our way, so one tick. All right, so basically what I'll be starting off with is talking about the new feature to be able to show renders. This applies to home builders and pool builders and shed builders, and I'll explain how this works. So no surprises as to which address I'll be going to. Anyone that's been attending these FAQ hours would have been quite familiar with this address. So we've come to this address as per normal. So this could be for a home or a pool or a shed. So one of the first things that you may have already noticed as a point of difference is you can see this little switch next to the brain, which is plan and render, which you can now switch between and be able to showcase the render instead of just the floor plan. So if you do have facades or renders, whether this could be for pools or for houses, if I filter down to all our pools, you'll be able to see lifestyle shots of the pool itself, or potentially garage or ADUs or granny flats or whatever might be the structure. So it's just an easier way to be able to showcase that and be able to run through and make those choices. And I'll also show in this webinar to be able to see how you're able to get that done. And as always, feel free to ask me any questions as I go along. You can do so through the chat widget. And these questions could be pertaining to what I'm discussing or anything else that you might be confronting. And apologies, a warm hello to all our new clients that are jumping on for the first time. And this webinar is being held at the same time, hopefully every month. So the first Thursday at 11 o'clock. So here we'll start with showing through the render options, which we've already showcased. But what you can also do now is you can consolidate designs into design sets. So how that works is, if I'm searching for an actual plan, see here, there's a little icon floating on top of the floor plan itself, which shows 2 designs. Now, these 2 designs basically indicates that you've amalgamated several designs into the one design set. So for example, if you're a home builder and you've got the Hamptons 25, the Hamptons 28, the Hamptons 33, and they're all interrelated, you can now group related design sets. So when you do click on that design set, it will show the designs within that design set. So, and the pools can be the same. You might have a lifestyle series at different sizes, or the Symphony, or whatever it might be, the key brand name, and then have ones underneath it. So it's an easy way to know that I'm going to go to the Grandeur, or I'm going to go to the Symphony, or I'm going to go to the lifestyle, or whatever it might be, the pool design. Or if you're a concrete home builder, so it could be geometric form or anything like that, you can consolidate designs into the same design set and then be able to showcase to a client, hey, these are all the different variants within this set. So with home builders, we've got here an example of 2 designs, and then it operates exactly as normal. When you click on the design, it will go to that design set. And you're able to switch between the plan and render as well. So that shows it quite clearly how that works. So how do you create a design set? That's quite simple. If you go to admin and you go to designs, a quick plug out to Endeavour Homes. If you go to the design set and go to, say, the one that I just went to, which was the Orlando 28, and you click on edit. Now here you can see under the design, you've got the design name, which is Orlando 28, the range that it might apply to. So the range isn't the design set. The range could be the affordable range, or the gold plated range, or whatever might be the case. And here you've got design set, so the TIM set. And here you just simply add a new design set name. You can see here, this is just our demo account. So I've got a mishmash of different names. And then all the designs that you apply to that set, it'll group them into a set. And it's as that simple. So here you can see the TIM set, and then this is the set of designs grouped under that. So which is quite good. Now, when you do click on a design, it'll apply that floor plan onto the site as per normal, and then you can position as per normal. So let's just do that straight away. As always, if the snap feature drives you slowly insane, you can turn that off by using the magnet on the right-hand side, and it'll stop trying to snap to all the side setbacks and property boundary lines. On behalf of one of our grain flag companies that have been requesting a way to be able to set that off permanently, we are releasing that, I believe, by Monday next week. So you'll be able to have an admin setting to be able to set it to permanent, to default snap or default not snap. Now, back to what we're doing here, I've clicked on the design within the design set, and now you can see the different facades associated to that design. So I'm showcasing a house as an example, but under the pool companies, what this could be is a pool within a design set of pool shapes. And then when you click on the pool, instead of showing different lifestyle shots, it could be different color shots. So the coloring of the pool itself. So you can choose between aqua or azure or green, blue, red, brown, or yellow. Probably brown won't be the best color for a pool, but you understand how this is being used. Now, if you do select on one of these options, so let's just say we go with the Positano, it'll assign that facade to this particular option. So when you're generating flyers or pricing, it'll showcase what that choice was, and it's just a nice way to sort of go through those options. Now, so on the right-hand side, you can see the facade tab. So we've selected a facade, it's highlighted here in green. And then if you click on options, here is where you'll be able to quickly showcase all the design options on the build. Now, this was subject to a webinar that we did last month, I believe. But just to recap on that, you can have optional designs, optional design changes applied to the floor plan straight away. So say we want to do the grand al fresco, we can select that quite easily and make those modifications. If you wanted to have the grand guest room and see if that fits, you can see how the floor plan is modifying in order to take into consideration those options. Now, for pool companies, that could be like a skimmer on the side, or it could be a spa. But typically for pool manufacturers, those will be multiple items. And I'll quickly briefly touch on multi-items. So you could drop in a pool as well as a separate spa. And I'll do that right now just for completeness. So if I drop back to here and I pick a pool, I'm pretty sure I've got a spa, I don't. So I won't be able to show that, but you'll be able to do multiple items. So in the same way that you can drop in, say, a granny flat and add in a multiple item, you can see how you can add on pool additions or spas to a pool and then be able to group that in conjunction with the actual pool itself. So let's just say this was a spa, you can always assign that alongside the pool so you can show where the spa is going to be, as an example. Or if there is known design changes to the pool itself, say for instance ladders in for above ground and there is known locations for that, you can have that as a design option in the same way as house. So when you've got the options, you've got these options here. As always, you can do the options to the ground floor and the upper floor by simply switching to ground floor and upper floor. If these options aren't available on your system, it will be because the uploads haven't been done or the upper floor plan hasn't been done. So simply reach out to us at support@canibuild.com and we'll definitely be happy to assist you in showcasing how to upload second levels and how to do these design options in terms of the upload process. But everything is possible through the options in the admin. And I'll touch on that in a moment as well. So going back, we've selected our facade for this option, which is going to be the Positano. We've done some design options as well. Now what you can do is generate a flyer just to be able to showcase how that looks. So let's go to the cart, click on flyer, click on order, agree to T's and C's and go check out. So here you can see the flyer has been generated. We can download that, open that up, and now we can see Acme Corporation, branded attributes, floor plans, pricing, etc. But more importantly, you can see the change in the flyer. For completeness, if I scroll down, you'll see also the granny flat. But this is what's driving this flyer choice. So if I go back and go back to designs, which will give me the other floor plan facade options. Let's pick one that's obviously different. So the canes. And then I can just simply go back to cart, back to flyer, generate that, and go check out, and I'll be able to show that as well. So that's ready. Click download and open that up. And then you can see the house there with the change in facade. So it's a very quick way to be able to start generating different flyers, different brochures, different proposals to be able to showcase to your clients. And the same happens with pools in an identical way. So jumping back to designs. So I'm not being rude, I'm just quickly looking at my phone as to all the points that I want to sort of cover in this FAQ hour. So we've touched on facades. We've touched on the renders and the optional changes and the design sets. And the design sets really does help with grouping these together. So rather than having every single floor plan visible, you can start grouping them in sort of those design sets. So just to recap, you can search for even within the design set. So say, for example, I'm searching for the Elandra. It knows that the Elandra is within this set. Or the Orlando, it's within this set. Or if I'm searching for Tim set, you'll find the set. So it's really practical. The filters still work within the actual options itself. So I think that's pretty cool. And if anyone is present today on the FAQ hour that was involved in getting this done and helping us, a thank you to them. I won't call you out by name, but if you're there, we appreciate the effort to get it to this point. And I think you can see that it's quite advantageous. So we've gone through that. The next thing that I wanted to sort of touch on is the data layers. Now, with the data layers, I just wanted to quickly run through verbally a lot of the data that we've recently updated, because we have done quite a lot. So what I'll do is I'll run through those, and just so you know that they now exist on the system. So one of the key ones is airport noise. So that's working for New South Wales right now. So that means you'll be able to, if you're building within the ANF areas, it'll tell you, so it'll strike up that whether you need an acoustic report, particularly relevant for home builders, to be able to see what that airport noise is. So now that's already live. That's been a request by many. Just to rattle off quite a few others, we've got airport noise in quite a few areas. I'm just running through a list right now, which I'm reading through. So the other one's in Townsville, and we've got it in quite a few different jurisdictions. For any clients currently from New Zealand, a big shout out to you guys. Wind classification is now live. So I know that that's something that's being requested by quite a lot of you. So if anyone's from New Zealand, we've now got wind, and then we're able to sort of incorporate that, which is quite good. Just a few others around the country, just to give you an indication. In Cairns, we've got hill slope, flooding, inundation, landslide, natural areas. In New Zealand, we've now got most utility information. So even in Christchurch, we've got water. For our US clients, we've been loading quite a lot. So in Florida, we've got wetlands. In Townsville, we've got coastal hazards, heritage erosion. In New South Wales, just to shoot off a few, we've got scenic protection areas, obstacle limitation surface areas, salinity, mineral and resources of land, groundwater vulnerability, airport noise, fault lines. Fault lines is in the USA for liquefaction, etc. And I would pronounce these areas in New Zealand, and I do apologize beforehand because I will pronounce all of these wrong. So Matamata Paiku district, we've got wind classification. Porua city, we've got wind classification, and Wellington. So anyone from New Zealand, I'm sure you're still laughing at how I pronounce those, so I do apologize. In terms of the rules themselves, we're always updating our rule base and rolling out more and more rules. So with ADUs in California, we've pretty much got all that covered. It's needed as Crestone, Del Mar, Oceanside, and Canada Bay. In houses, we've now got more and more precincts. So Centennial, we've got Lawn, that's in New Zealand. We've got Lane Cove Council, Liverpool DCP. So again, if there's any rules and regulations that you see lacking or missing or that you need, feel free to reach out to us always at support@canibuild.com, and we'll be able to load those in. But I just wanted to touch base on the data layers because we have done quite a few in that regards, and just a few more that I'll rattle off. And I can see some questions coming through, which I'll jump on straight away. Just some of the more things, and I'll rattle these off. Easements, we're rolling out more and more easements. So that's sewer, water, stormwater, noise exposure, as well as airport noise. So coastal hazards, flood, storm, tide. And these are predominantly the Australian data layers, Aboriginal heritage, bushfire, coastal zones, etc. And any client that happen to be in the US, it's not that late in the US. I think it's around 6, 7 o'clock in most areas. We've done a lot in the US, so we've been fortunate enough to have quite a few large, significant national and multinational clients jump on board, which means that the access to data has been increasing. So we've got one quick question. Hi, Tim, when will wind classification be in South Australia? A really good question. With wind, we're rolling that out now. So over the next couple of weeks, you'll be starting to see more and more. What we are doing is we're updating our website, and you'll be able to start seeing a page where we'll be disclosing what we've uploaded. We're trying to be as transparent as possible, even though I'm sure our competitors are probably on this webinar as well and tracking, but so be it. But we will be disclosing transparently what data layers that we have, so then you're always aware of what's being loaded. So I do apologize, I've just run through that list as opposed to showcasing in a much more visual way, which I would have preferred, but I hope you can see that we're loading in data every single day. So in answer to the question, wind in South Australia, I will presume it'll be within the next week or 2 weeks at most, but I'll make sure that I'll record your name and I'll send through an email after this. Either Jim or someone else would sort of touch base. So Jim, if you're listening, just find out from the team when wind layers are coming in South Australia, and we'll be able to send that information. So we've got an exact time frame, and if possible, we'll bring that forward for you. So if there's any other questions, feel free to shoot them through, and I'll jump in and answer them. Now, so we've touched on design sets, we've touched on facades and renders. The other thing that I wanted to quickly touch on is our update in annotations. So this is important because if you remember the little yellow post-it note, so if any of you guys are right-clicking and adding a note, you can see that that now has changed. The benefit here is, while looking a little bit more professional, and there's a larger box for you to be able to type in any note required, can go here as per always. You can see at the bottom now, there's a longitude and latitude. So for especially our garage and shed builders, you can now do annotation, say for example, location of gate or service connection or meter, and it'll give you that longitude and latitude. You can click on the little double squares here and you can copy those details, and that can be recorded elsewhere. So you now know the position of things on any block of land pretty much in the world. So whether it's Australia, New Zealand, the United States, you can use that feature and know exactly where point 1 is located on a parcel of land, which is particularly relevant if the parcel is many hectares big. And the last thing you want to know is it's 422 linear meters left of the property boundary, which is pointless. So hence why we've introduced longitude, latitude. The other thing that you're able to do with these notes is you can click on the little picture on the right of those double squares and actually select a picture. So if I do select a picture, and I'll give a shout out to one of our clients. I've just got a logo as a picture close by. You can now put in a an image. So it could be a picture of a meter box, or it could be a picture of the tree that you're saying that the client needs to be removed. So, and be able to very clearly showcase that. So just to be able to give a lot more richness to the actual site analysis or the notes that you're doing. And you can add as many pictures as you want, and you can remove it by clicking the little X on the image itself. So now when you're on site, you can start taking a much more rich, detailed view of what's happening, or you can start associating photos that you took previously or that's being provided to the client. And these could be even changes in the kitchen. You can actually do a note and say, this is how the kitchen's going to look. This is the difference of the waterfall edge, or in the pool, this is these fountains, and let's just add this, and etc. The other benefit of these notes, and I'll add a few more just for completeness. So here, add an annotation, remove shed. When you do generate a site plan, which I'll do now, so cart, scroll down, click site plan, click order, agree to T's and C's and checkout. What will happen is those notations will actually display quite neatly, and I'll include the longitude and latitude. It takes up to a minute for this to generate. So as that's generating, I'll showcase exactly how that looks. Aside from that, I hope everyone, I'm not talking too fast. Again, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to shout out and interrupt me as I go along. I won't call you out by name so you don't get too embarrassed. I'll run through any questions that you might have. So as that's generating, I'll touch on a few other bits and pieces that we're doing. Probably the main one, which I forgot to mention as I was doing the facades and the options, is if you do click on quote, if you're using us as a quoting tool, it does showcase those costings for the design option. So you can see here on that grand al fresco that we've done, and the guest room, it's listed here. So these can be already preset. So as you build up these options, as you quickly drop them in, you'll be able to see them. So here, we've got quick note that says the note's good for positioning septic tanks, etc., for engineer soil testing. 100%, really appreciate that note. We've been getting a lot of requests from that, and again, apologies for any delay in getting that to you, but I hope you guys can see that month to month we are introducing features that are actually relevant to you guys, fingers crossed. And that longitude latitude is a major one, especially on large sites, because for home builders that are doing in inner city, and all the blocks of land are now becoming microscopically small, 300 square meters and 350 and 400, knowing that it's 5 meters from the site boundary is logical. But for shed companies, you can imagine 405 meters from the boundary is pretty hard to find. Their maxi measuring tape isn't going to cut it, so they need to rely on longitude latitude. And you can put that annotation on the corner of the build as well. But soon, the build itself will have a longitude latitude. So that's our next step. So here we've got our design options here. We've got our pricing here. Also, if you scroll across and click on granny flats, that's the granny flat price here. So that's how we group it. So for those of you that do multiple build types, house and pool, for example, or house, pool, and granny flat, this is where you'll see those pricings, and then each category of build will have its own pricing group. So again, as per normal, and I won't bore people too much about talking about quote in this episode, but as always, you can just add items in. So if you've got trenching and you know that it's 10 millimeters because you may have measured it out, or you've got a driveway that you're doing that you know it's 33 square meters, and click add, it will build that up, and then as per the site plan and flyer, you can click proceed and generate that, and I'll showcase how that looks. Just going back to the annotations, you can see here site plan is now complete. If I click on site plan, click download and open that guy up, what you can see on the right hand side is our notes with the picture of wisdom, which we thank you for your trust in using us. But underneath, imagine that was a picture of a tree or a septic tank or something on site, some rock or whatever might be the case, and it'll have the longitude latitude. Essentially, point one, you know where it is exactly in the world. And then you've got remove shed, and you know exactly which shed. So you can imagine when you generate these site plans are provided to surveyors or provided to someone on site, they know exactly what you're talking about. They know exactly where to walk to and how to get there. So that's quite good. Now that we've got pictures, the annotation tab might widen quite quickly, but that's fine. If it runs off the page, it'll simply start appearing on the bottom page, which is quite nifty. So feel free to add in 300 pictures. They'll just simply start adding on that last page. So jumping back. So just to recap what we've gone through already, we've shown designs, design sets, the amalgamation of designs into a set, facades, which could be house renders or pool lifestyle shots or pool internal colors or completed shed designs. Even for our custom home builders, what a lot of guys are doing is they're using that facade option rather than having your facade options per se. It's just displaying a completed photo of a previous job. So we've got some custom home builders that their builds range between $2.5 and $3.5 million. They just have a design library of previous jobs with previous job floor plans that they've completed with the completed photo. So their facade switching is just showing the completed photo of that as just an added visualization point when you're talking to a client. So I'm trying to jump around and cover all build types because I don't want anyone to feel sort of left behind in terms of build types. Now, if we're mentioning also one of the points that we wanted to talk about was the Canibuild widget, but specifically how it relates to house and land packaging. So, and this is also important for pool builders, and I'll explain why in a moment. So Here, if I go to the filing cabinet to the right-hand side of the address, you can see here there's a house and land package. So it's called the Jim's House and Land Special. So what you can do is, in the exact same way as I've cited this build and I've cited this granny flat, this will be working exactly the same way in a new estate, identically. So let's just say it was a new estate. What we can do is click these three little dots and package the deal. Now, by packaging the deal, essentially what's happening is you can give it a name. So rather than the Jim Special, we can say it is the Yaguna 50 house and land package. We can designate the facade name. We can override the price. So rather than having the price that's generated, which could be $683,042, you can override that price. So maybe not 06, but 649 as a price. That will probably be a very cheap house and land package in Australia nowadays. So let's just put a 1 in front of it. And then you can click create generate package. Now, what that will do is it'll generate another house and land package, which you can see coming up here. And what that does is it generates the package, so then you can now access it via your My Packages on the top right-hand side. So if I did click on that, what this is doing is loading up all your packages. Now, so you're probably thinking, okay, so what's happening here? But what essentially you've done is, in exactly the same way as you're citing knockdown rebuilds or you're citing a standard build, you're basically doing the same for a house and land package. So you can do it, you can go to an estate on an unregistered block of land, pick that house and land package, and basically then push it out to REA or any domain. So here's the Jim Special. If I click on publish, a right-hand side will come up, and it's already bringing in the facade, the floor plan, all the attributes, all the descriptions, because it's already there. And there's nothing you have to do. So you can imagine how many packages you can now quickly do and quickly respond to. You can have the sales consultant's details, the date in which it's going to go through. Here we've just got realestate.com, who we work quite closely to. So I'm not sure if they've logged in as well, but hello to you guys. And this is just here as an example, but this could be iBuild New, who we also have a relationship with, who's doing tremendous things. I just read their article the other day, and as well as others. So, but in this list, you can also push out to your web widget. So you can actually embed a lightweight version of Canibuild on your website, which has been the subject of previous webinars, but I'll touch on it lightly here. So that means you can push out to realestate.com, you can push out to your own widget on your website at the same time. So within 5 minutes, you can cite something, push it out to REA, push it out to your web widget by simply clicking submit. And I think that's pretty cool. So jumping back, if I do go to an estate, for example, you can see how this would work. So here I've clicked on estates, I zoom in, pick an estate, and if anyone's done my webinars, you can see that I'm hyper consistent in where I go and travel. So here you pick a block and repeat the same process. You drop in, you see what the house and land packages are. You go to the filing cabinet, you click these three dots and click package deal. Pretty simple. You'll see it in the house and land packages, you'll publish it to realestate.com, and it'll showcase that package with those design options, with that pricing that you want to show, with that facade, with that flyer, all done straight away. Nothing else that you have to do. And we also integrate into any of your CRM. So not only does the package get pushed out to those property portals, but you can also integrate into any CRM. We've got HubSpot, Real Estate, Zapier here, but we've integrated into Dynamics, Salesforce, and a host of others. Essentially, we can do it to any. These ones here are the ones that you're able to just connect at will yourselves. All the rest, you just have to email us, and within 24 hours, we'll be connected. So there's no issue there. And we're working with quite a few builders right now in that regard. And that integration means that not just for house and land packaging, it can still go into your existing flow, and all your existing data points can exist, but it also could mean that whenever you generate a site plan, that site plan document is resting within your CRM. We're very agnostic. We're not trying to house everything in just us. Now, all of this being said and done basically then comes down to the web widget. So just want to, again, a shout out to another one of our clients, Advanced Homes, that I tend to sort of go to showcase the widget. So what we're doing here is we're actually going to this particular company's own website. This is embedded on their website. So this is not Canibuild. Even the widget itself has been branded and stylized in their company colors. And then if you click on a particular estate, you're able to then log into that estate. I've already registered, so I can just sign in easily in this way. I just sign in. And then basically see the project. And then here is where you'll see any house and land package that you've created. So this will pop up as a house and land. So it not only can appear on realestate.com for your paid portal advertising, but also here. So it's a tremendous advantage for anyone from marketing. I'm sure they'll be able to see the value proposition of being able to very quickly showcase a house and land package in this way. Now, I did mention earlier that this can also apply to pool builders, and I'm sure if there's pool builders and listening on right now, I'll just be scratching your head and go, okay, this is going to be an interesting spin. Let's see how it works out for us. But I can tell you right now, there's quite a few clients that are aligning themselves with home builders to be able to showcase a pool and a house. Now, home builders are except for those that are building houses and pools, many home builders aren't building pools, and they can partner up with pool contractors to be able to showcase a pool in the backyard. So it does have the opportunity for, if these relationships are formed, and if anyone's interested in this, reach out to us and we can show how we can facilitate. But basically it means the home builder can site the house component, the pool builder can site the pool component, and this can be part of a house and land package just to visually showcase the project a lot better. The web widget in itself works tremendously well for pool builders because it just allows your end consumer to self-serve and be able to showcase pools on the site. And again, this integrates back into your CRM. So you can imagine how it works. Someone will go to their home address, have a look at all your pool options, play around with it, see how it fits. And then in that interaction, they would have registered, which means they used a validated mobile number, which means they're contactable. So the very next day you can say, hi, John Smith. I noticed that you're looking at Autumn Grove, lot 3. You're interested in that block. I can see you've cycled through these 2 pool designs. How can we help? And that lead is incredibly warm, if not hot. And then you can carry on the discussion. So that's quite simple. You can click get flyer to get the flyer. It'll also validate the email in that way. And you can actually turn on a payment gateway. So if your business model allows for purchasing to be done through the web, you can simply say get pay now. And that pay now could be a holding deposit for a house and land package, for example, or it could be the purchase of, say, an above ground pool, or the deposit for the next step, or whatever it might be, for a paid site visit. And in the United States, that's also quite common. I'm sure that every Australian business right now on this webinar hearing that the United States can charge their clients for site visits is like an amazing thing to dream about, but it does happen. So you can have those paid components there. So jumping back, and again, if anyone's got questions on the webinar, on the web widget, feel free to ask that as well. The other thing that I wanted to quickly point out, which is a feature that sometimes gets missed, is the bird's eye feature. This is incredibly beneficial. So it's on the bottom right-hand side, just above the little yellow man. I thought I'll just quickly show this again, because this allows you to see the property on angle and sort of rotate around on all sides. So you can start seeing actually what's happening. And you can see from the imagery, it is quite up to date, reflecting the actual construction on this job site. And that really applies well for granny flat builders and pool builders that need to understand site access. So just to touch on that as well, if I go back to my beloved Hood Street property address, I'll have to send them a hamper one day. If I click on the little bird's eye view, you can see how this would be beneficial for a pool contractor looking about access, even someone doing remodeling or modification to the existing house, access, etc., and filtering around. So I'm hoping that everyone's taking advantage of that feature as well. So I'm just quickly dropping back to my list to make sure I don't miss anything. So we've touched on facades, we've touched on renders, we've touched on optional changes, and also the web widget and the data layers. So that's quite beneficial as well. Now, one thing that I did want to showcase, which may have been missed, one tick here in terms of the data layers, can I build web widget design sets? What I might do is I might just give you a prelude to what we're releasing very soon. I'm hoping that I'll be able to present it. So let me just quickly log into our development environment and I'll give you a showcase of what's coming. So here, if I go to an address, and I'm hoping this all works out well, it's the risks of doing a webinar live. So basically, what you can see here is a site at 76 Hood Street, revolutionary, one street address from 78. In the next year, I'll go to 74. But here we've got a property, it looks all the same, but very soon we'll be able to start presenting the site in 3D and be able to showcase this quite simply in this fashion as well. So you'll be able to showcase the drop edges, and this will work for pool companies as well. You can see at the bottom, it's working off your recipe of pricing. And then the nice thing is when you start moving this around, you can see the drop edge automatically calculating, automatically telling you how much the square meter is for that drop edge. And you'll be able to showcase at the back the cut that might be required. And the nice thing about this as well is if you do play around with the heights, so let's just say we lower it a bit because we don't want such a high drop edge, it'll automatically recalculate the site cut as well. So you can see that there, which is quite impressive. And then it'll calculate the import and export field, the net cut, etc., etc. So again, this is something we're incredibly excited to be able to present. What it also allows you to do is you're able to showcase shadowing. So by clicking the little sun, you'll be able to see the time of day, year, and you can imagine how this will be beneficial for not just home builders, but for pool builders when you're trying to ascertain the best location for the pool in order to be exposed to maximum sunlight for the majority of the day. So again, this is quite nice and good, I think, but I'm heavily biased because I love the application. The other thing that you're able to do is you're able to actually showcase things like the floor plan on the site itself and showcase that on and off, and be able to showcase a 3D model if you want to, if you have those models, or else it'll just extrude out the massing from the floor plan. But you can see how beneficial this is. And then if you push this forward, you'll be able to see what the ramifications are, and then see what the site cut's going to be, and the cost, because this is running off your items. And then you'll be able to show elevations and showcase to a client that when they say, oh, who cares about a 1.5 meter drop edge? You can say, well, do you care about it now? And they'll probably say yes. And then you've saved yourself a whole lot of work and rework in that regards. And then you can see that at the back here, there's a bit of a drop edge there, and then you'll be able to see how that looks, etc., etc. So we'll be releasing this, and then it works exactly the same way. You can still leverage our proprietary contours and see what those contours are interrelating, etc., etc. So I thought I'll surprise you all and just show you under the hood as to what's coming next, which I hope you feel that that's quite exciting. Yeah, so Karina, it's still not released yet, but I thought I'll showcase it. If anyone is interested in knowing when this is exactly being released and wanting a heads up, just email us at any time if you're one of our major partners, or even if you do 2 houses or pools a year, we don't care, just reach out to us and we'll happily include you in that sort of loop as to when this is coming about, so you can prepare for it as well. But I hope you can see the value in that. And then basically, if I jump back to the main app, just to cap off that quick little demonstration in 3D, it'll feed off your pricing recipe. So here you've got your recipe of prices. And then here is where you'll say, this is what we charge for the import and export of fill. This is what we charge for drop edges and square meter and et cetera, et cetera. So you can see here, this concreter is incredibly cost effective at $17 a square meter drop edge. I'm sure we'll all want his or her number, but you can see here how this will operate. And as you move the pool around or the granny flat around or the house around, it'll automatically calculate what that price is. So I think that's pretty cool. But I think for this session, I've covered off most of the points I wanted to sort of cover. I'm keen to see if anyone's got any questions or any difficulties they've been facing, and I'm happy to sort of run through those and see what I can do to help right now. But hope you get advantage out of what we've done, but feel free to rattle off any questions or any dramas that you may have been having, or anything positive that you want to convey. We'll be happy to answer those. If there's no questions, we'll be putting this on our YouTube channel. Due to the technical difficulties, I apologize to anyone on Facebook. I didn't have time to share it. I was rushing to get in, but we'll be sharing it on our YouTube channel, so you can replay it and showcase to anyone else that might be interested in either the 3D or etc. I'm sure our competitors will be, but let them feel free to have a garner as well. But I've got some questions here. Is there a list of Zapier triggers that are active? 100%. If you go to Zapier.com and you select Canibuild, I believe it comes up. So let's just do that live. Where is the search? Explore apps that work with. Let's just see here. Yep, we're here. So here you'll be able to sort of scroll down and it should list the triggers. So here, create flyer, lookup address. But in addition to this, I can tell you right now, we have generate document. So every time you generate a document, i.e. quote or flyer or site plan, it'll trigger. So and then also on lookup address and also on create contact. So you can trigger on that as well. So you can have a singular and not data silo in terms of your contact information. So for example, if you're using HubSpot, you'll use our native integration, but if you're using any other CRM and you wanted to start taking advantage of it now, you can. And if there's a trigger, and I love the fact that, that triggers exist, Nathan, so that means you're using Zapier already. Feel free to let us know what trigger you want, and we can do that. And we don't charge for that service, so feel free to just let us know, and we'll add it in. So hopefully that helps as well, guys. And then you'll be able to start seeing. So here we've got select design as well. And the reason why we've got select design is you can see how this interplays with the web widget, because when a lead comes in to your CRM, you'll see that Joe Blogs on this address, looked up this many times, generated this many documents, and selected between these 3 designs. And you can imagine from a sales consultant's perspective, that's pretty cool information to know before you call, because you basically know everything that you typically would have to ask for. And then you can even see what they've done. You can see what they've cited, and then sort of reach out to them and assist them in sort of choosing you as the best builder for the job, or best contractor for my American visitors today. I always have to remember to switch between terminology. Any other question, guys? I'm keen to sort of assist in any which way I can. Well, I'll stick around awkwardly for a few moments, but I know we've made it on time this time. Usually my blabbering gets us 10 minutes past the hour, and I do apologize whenever I've dragged over. But we're doing a lot of stuff here in Canibuild. We're definitely rolling out a lot of new features, and I hope the features are well received. If we're ever missing the point, let us know, because in the end of the day, it's what you guys drive the focus in which we're sort of going to, because it's really not about us thinking we know more than anyone else. It's not. You guys help us set it straight and what's important. And the next webinar will probably be the 3D one, so that'll be pretty cool. I'm pretty sure it'll be a full house on that one. And we are releasing a lot of information in terms of knowing which blocks of land are for sale. So you'll be able to start doing a few creative things there. So I might do that next month or the month after, because I'm pretty sure if we do 3D, everyone's going to be more focused on that. So no, thanks, Karina. Thanks for the shout out. Thanks, Elise. Really appreciate you jumping on, and thanks to everyone for. I'm really blown away by the fact that you guys join in, month out. So feel free to jump in next month, first Thursday, 11 o'clock every month. I'll be here doing these, and I'm sure the next one's going to be pretty exciting. And again, apologies for the few minutes late earlier. I'll have a quiet conversation with my laptop after this. So guys, enjoy, keep selling, keep safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you next month. Thanks, Aslan. And if anyone was too shy, don't fear emailing support@canibuild.com. We'll be happy to help. And I'll also stick around for a minute, just in case someone wants to ask a last second question. Oh, that's pretty cool. Sorry, guys, I still enjoy playing around and having a look. Oh, that's really good. That's a really good one. I should have shown this address. Sorry, guys. That's really, really cool. So that gives, for those of you that's still remaining, you can see here the layers. I always enjoyed looking at the contours. And you can also see that we're also identifying the trees, which is good. That's always impressive. No, that's really cool. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm just drifting off into giving my team a pat on the back. But thanks, guys. See you next month. Take care, Rob. Over now.